Before we get going on today's Bengals breakdown, it's very simple here at Chat Sports. The more subscribers, the more views we get, the more videos we can do for you guys. So if you want even more Bengals YouTube videos, all for free, we're asking you to help us out today. Share this video. If we get some shares on Facebook, on Twitter, texting it to a buddy, whatever, we can do even more videos for you guys this week. So help us out to do more videos. Share this video right now. This is Bengals Breakdown by Chat Sports. I am Tom Downey, here with all of the latest news and rumors around the Bengals. We begin with some of the bigger ones this week, frankly, and that is Joe Burrow leading the way among some, I'd say, fairly juicy rumors and news on tap today. Burrow spoke with media at some practices today for the Bengals, said contract talks with Cincinnati are currently ongoing. And it does remain, I think, as far as I'm concerned, everyone around the Bengals, Burrow themselves, every person with a pulse is concerned, a matter of when, not if, Joe Burrow gets paid in a significant fashion by the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think he's worth absolutely every penny, and then probably some more on top of that. Burrow asked about contract talks today, said this: I'm involved. That is in the works. Not something I like to play out in the media. That's the way they, referring to the Bengals, do business. That's the way I like to do business. It is a matter of when, not if, that Joe Burrow becomes, if not the highest paid quarterback, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the entire NFL. Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts have all surpassed the $50 million per year threshold. They've done it smartly in terms of backloading those deals so that when the salary cap goes up, so too does that money. Neither guy's actually making even close to $50 million this year. It's really Burrow and Justin Herbert right now, set to get paid and continue the trend of every 3 to 4 years, the top 5 highest paid quarterback list looks significantly different. And with what Burrow has done so far in his still brief NFL career, it's kind of a no-brainer. The Bengals were not a very successful franchise. There had been moments, make no mistake about it, but there were some out there who erroneously tried to claim that Burrow should demand a trade and why go play for Cincinnati. Well, this is why. It's working. It's worked really well with Burrow and Chase and everybody else in Cincinnati, and he continuously gives them a very real shot of, if not being a playoff team, doing even a little bit more. So be honest with me. I think I know the answer, but you can be honest, though, at the pinned comment of today's show. Would you make Joe Burrow the highest paid quarterback in the NFL? Why for yes and for no? This will be the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad break happens to come here on the YouTube side, take advantage of it. Head down there. Y for yes, N for no. My answer is a resounding duh. No concerns whatsoever about doing it. And I would try to get it done as soon as possible. Because if you can beat the Chargers to doing the Justin Herbert deal, you might have literally as short as a day in which Joe Burrow is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Now, it might be, a $500,000 per year difference, but hey, that helps out in the end. The longer you wait, the more it costs. And I do think, by the way, that Patrick Mahomes will end up becoming the highest paid quarterback again with a adjustment to his deal. But I would like nothing more than the Bengals to operate with urgency. I do think the renaming, of Paycor Stadium was in large part to get some more funds to help pay Joe Burrow's massive contract and Jamar Chase, etc. Pay him and structure the deal properly. Go extra years. Go even more money on the average per year front and help backload that deal. That way it's not just, $40 million in year one. Now you can backload it and make it more like $20 million he counts against the cap in his first year. They dream, probably unlikely, but still dream world for me, is doing the new version of the Mahomes deal. In a heartbeat, I would happily give Joe Burrow 10 years, $55 million per year, or even more than that, because I have no concerns about him being my franchise quarterback. He's gotten them to the Super Bowl already. Not a win, but they got him so far. He's your franchise guy for the next 10 years. You're not worried about doing that baseball-style deal. And the Mahomes deal was a steal for Kansas City. If Burrow would take less money to do that type of deal, I would love to do it for Cincinnati. We're updating you guys on the early sub-battle between our Ravens channel and us here at Bengals Breakdown. Through the first day, we have the advantage, 15-5. A small but early lead. Let's keep it going. If you haven't already, subscribe for more free Bengals videos. Let's move to Joe Mixon as Bleacher Report continues to push the idea, the possibility, the theory of Joe Mixon being released by Cincinnati. The argument was, they drafted Chase Brown in the 5th. I'm going to add the qualifier only because they only spent a 5th-round pick on a running back. And I know there's some other pieces on the roster, but does anyone here have immense faith in the ground game led by a 5th-round pick early on? I kind of don't. Now, there is potential money to be saved, which matters long-term for Cincinnati. His cap hit this year is $12.76 million, then basically a team option next year. The Bengals would save over $10 million if they cut Joe Mixon after June 1st. They could designate that at any point, cutting him now versus cutting him later. Maybe they want to try to go to the pay cut route, because I do wonder just how much in the tank Joe Mixon really has left. The numbers, injuries a part of it, a not great offensive line a part of it, but the numbers have not been particularly elite for Mixon. He'll get you 1,000 yards, he'll get you touchdowns, but around 4 yards per carry is a little bit closer to league average-ish or below league average than you would typically like. And had the Bengals taken a Zach Charbonnet in round 2, had he fallen to them, had he taken him back in the 3rd round maybe, the idea of releasing Mixon would have gained a lot of steam. But right now, behind Mixon, it's Chris Evans, who can do maybe some 3rd-down pass-catching stuff for you. A rookie I like in Chase Brown, and then some players never heard of, and also Travion Williams. Remember, the Bengals are trying to replace Samaje Perine, not just potentially replace Joe Mixon. They don't have anybody right now to take that Perine role. And based on what Zach Taylor has said, I wonder if Travion Williams could be that guy. Not a lot of production in the past, but I think they trust him a bit more in pass pro, which they do not trust Joe Mixon there. That's been made very clear by the organization. So I wonder if Williams is more of your Samaje Perine replacement. And that's why I'm not really sure they're going to cut Joe Mixon. The money saved is intriguing, but the alternative options are Chase Brown and Chris Evans, a couple late day 3 picks. I don't know if they trust that, at least at this stage. So what do you think the Bengals will end up doing with Joe Mixon? K for they'll keep him, C for they will cut him. Sound off with your predictions in the comment section. Jonah Williams next up here. There was a report out of Cincinnati, I believe that was yesterday. Let me double check my dates on that front here. That the Bengals, it was yesterday, and the Jaguars, is from the Inquirer, had talked about a Jonah Williams trade before this year's NFL draft. Then the report goes, well, the Bengals decided to not move him. I do wonder if that is truth or maybe a little bit of spin zone there, because remember the Jags drafted an offensive tackle in round 1, so maybe it was talking about some pre-prep work in case the Jags didn't get an offensive tackle. I am curious what Jacksonville offered for the $12.6 million cost of 1 year of Jonah Williams coming off a not-so-good season. If they offered a 2nd or a 3rd, I think the Bengals would have done that. I wonder if it was Jacksonville laid the groundwork for a potential trade, then they drafted Anton Harrison in round 1. They said, okay, well, now we're clearly out of it. Or maybe the Bengals were like, we're not getting the offer we want. We're holding on to him anyway. As it sits right now, the expectation is Williams will participate in mandatory activities, i.e. not the current voluntary stuff going on today and this week for the Bengals. He is not present, and will play at right tackle. Given the uncertainty around Lyle Collins, more on that in a little bit, by the way, it would certainly appear that Jonah Williams is the favorite to be the starter at right tackle. He wasn't that great, to be quite honest. Not great run support. When he got beat, it was often a sack. The overall pressure numbers for 1,000-plus snaps aren't actually that bad, but when the sacks carry that high of a percentage, that's not a very good combo there. Now, I think it might be better on the right side. He's played both sides. He wants to be a left tackle because the money's there. I get it. But what is your confidence level in Jonah Williams at the right tackle position? Sound off in the comments section. If you're not confident in Jonah Williams, the Bengals do have some options at right tackle. They all just carry asterisks right now. Lyle Collins, they signed him after the Cowboys cut him last offseason. Then he tore his ACL. Well, not just his ACL. He revealed to Bengals.com, Jeff Hobson, he tore all of them, ACL, MCL, PCL. He says he's going to be back by opening day. I don't know about that one. A week 16 tear of everything and then getting back ready for week 1 is probably asking for a bit too much. Maybe he's a pupless candidate to begin the year, but he can play some right tackle for you. They also, probably in light of the La'el Collins injury and concern over general offensive line depth, they did sign Cody Ford. He's played guard and tackle in his NFL career, the Bills and the Cardinals. Well, he wasn't very good for the Cardinals. It's about as low as you'll see of a PFF run grade. It's PFF, so, asterisk it if you need to there. You can always try Jackson Carman. Maybe Dante Smith gets a chance at some point in his young NFL career. But I think the uncertainty around Collins and, Cody Ford not being that great is a big reason why the Bengals were not just going to give away Jonah Williams. Hopefully he plays well at right tackle this season.